Everyone's Lucas D. So I finally settled on my cast on crit build, and what we settled for was Cyclone, Power Charge on critical strike, Fortify, Blade Fall, added fire damage, and cast on critical strike. So cast on critical strike, added fire damage, Blade Fall, Fortify, Power Charge on critical strike with Cyclone. So we settled on that as a 6th link, and we're currently level 84 in the Hardcore Essence League. So the weapon we're using is the Beano kitchen knife, and we have our movement skill gem in here, which is faster attacks, whirling blades, and we use ancestral protector for our increased attack speed. Basically, when we're on bosses and things like that, we drop our totem down and we get about 6 to 7k extra DPS just when we drop the totem down. So it does the most effective thing to have when I'm doing bosses, I've found so far. We also have a enchant on the Helm, which is for ancestral protector, which grants 12% increased attack speed while active. Our gloves are basically the rampage gloves. So when we have max endurance charges, we will gain a mod called Rampage, which pretty much gives us a lot of effects and buffs. It does a lot of things like corpse explosions, a lot of AoE effects, and it just helps out your map clearing, and you're just very fun to have with your build with these unique gloves. They're cheap gloves and they've been pretty cost effective in the build. Our belt, we want a high roll increased physical damage belt, high life, and then whatever else you can get on it. Mainly just find the resists you need that can at least get you max resists. So that's the belt we're using. The boots we're using, just get something with at least 30% movement speed, good life, and good resist. So this is the best boots I found so far for this build. The shield, basically Lionized Remorse, 1 chaos. It's got all the mods on it I need, so 93 to life. The block chance is really good on it, and the armor is really good on it. A lot of people are saying that it's not that great to migrate the armor when you get to higher levels. So we've got 9.5k armor, which is giving us about 48% reduced physical damage reduction. The other way we try to reduce our damage and things like that is the chance to block with attacks. It's at 56%, and chance to block spells at 56% also. It is buffed as well, so if we do get hit, we do get the Gladiator's buff, so it gives us an extra 8% chance to block spells and block attacks. So, and with Tempest Shield up, we currently have about 67% chance to block spells and attacks. So it's pretty effective at the moment. The only thing I'm not as happy with is I need a bit more chaos resistance. Currently at the moment we only have 9% chaos resistance, so probably the belt may be the next upgrade, where we can find a belt with decent life, decent cold resistance, and decent chaos resistance. I'm yet to look on POE trade or find a good belt, so we're going to leave it at that. Rings, need good rings with good life, good resistances, just to cap your resistances, so get the resistances you need, good life, good attack speed, and physical damage. It's not necessary, but attack speed's pretty good to have on your ring. Critical strike as well, so this ring's got over 90 life, so it's really good. The attack speed's a good find for me. Also the critical strike ring, so with decent life, physical damage, so this ring's got pretty much a lot of good mods on it as well. The actual amulet, I just tried to find something with decent resists on it and also decent life on it, and this is basically what I found. It doesn't have any physical damage mods or anything like that, or critical multiplier or critical strike chance. I didn't really need it, or I haven't really found one as yet, so this has been pretty effective for me with high life so far. Helm, I think I've shown the Helm, but I'll show you again. So resistances and life and accuracy. So as high as that much accuracy as you can possibly get. If you can't get accuracy on your Helm, you're going to have to get accuracy somewhere else. So you can't really get it on your gloves because we're using the unique gloves, but you could probably get some accuracy on your rings or on your amulet if you need accuracy. Okay, so that's the build at the moment. Skills we're using is Cyclone. Critical strike chance is pretty up there. It's about an 80% critical strike chance. When we've got our ancestral protector up, our DPS on the toolbar is about 25k. That's not including we've got cast on crit bladefall. So we're going to have cast on crit bladefall. We've added fire support, fire damage support as well on there. Power charge on critical strikes to get our critical strikes up. I'll just test it out with the Spider Forest map. I've got the Spider Forest map in patch 2.4 is a tier 6 map. I've got a few mods on this map. So 60% chance to avoid elemental stealth lines, monsters poison on hits, 89% extra damage as lightning, monsters skills chain 2 additional times. So there's a few mods on this map, so we'll just see how we go. Okay, so as we're using the ability, it's casting, it's attacking, and we're doing bladefall as well. If I just stand here, so that's the rampage that's kicking in when it stuns them. If I just stand here, it basically kills them anyway, because on our gloves, we've got Riposte, Vengeance, we've cast on critical strike, and Blade Vortex. And with these gloves, you also have Socketed Gems are supported by level 5 concentrate effect. So we could do that. Up here I've got Reckoning, increased critical strikes, cast on critical strike, and Molten Shell. So you can switch over Reckoning with Vengeance if you want. If you want your Blade Vortex to trigger a lot more. I'm pretty happy with Vengeance. We've Riposte on the gloves, and up here Reckoning over here for Molten Shell. So Molten Shell does go off a fair bit as well, which is pretty good. In the shield we want our auras, so we've got Hatred, Warlord's Mark, and Blasphemy. So our auras are up at the moment. We still have enough mana to cast our totem, and we also still have enough mana for our Cyclone and our Whirling Blades ability. Okay, let's just keep going. So there we go, we cast our totem, and as you can see we get a lot more attack speed, which works quite well. It is a hardcore build, this build, but in saying that, the highest I've gone so far is tier 8 maps with this build, so it hasn't been fully tested on the end maps. And at the moment we've got 5,000 life, almost 5,000 life, just under it. But so far the DPS is there. It's a pretty tough build. A lot of people say Gladiator builds don't do much DPS, but this one's doing quite a lot of DPS, I find. Okay, where are we going to go now? We'll go through here. Okay, so we're on the boss. Let's give the boss a go now, and hopefully we won't die. Okay, so we've got a Shaper's Orb. A low tier map, but anyways, no, it's alright. Well, that's alright, it's a tier 7 map, so I've got a tier 7 map from this box, which is pretty good. What I might do is I might go back into the map here because we've still got about more than 50 monsters remaining. We'll go down here. Oh, there's 41 monsters remaining now, so it's almost pretty empty, this map now. We'll just leave the map. If we have a look at the skill tree, so I'll just show you guys a skill tree real quickly of how I went. I've done a few videos with this build, so the build was work in progress. This is what I've settled on, and this is what seems to be working quite well. Now, it's a cast on crit build, and it's with the Gladiator build, so it is viable for hardcore if you guys want to play hardcore. You've got Pain Forged, which has 8% additional block chance if you're damaged by a hit recently, which I was explaining before. 40% increased damage if you've taken no damage from hits recently. We've got the Versatile Combatant, so like I've explained, 100% of block chance to apply to spells. And the Gratuitous Violence, so attacks have a 25% chance to cause bleeding, and that's why Cyclone pretty much puts that buff on, that bleed effect on, because it hits so many times. And then there's 30% increased damage against bleeding enemies, which works pretty well with Cyclone. And bleeding enemies you kill explode, dealing 10% of their maximum life physical damage. So if I kill one mob and they actually got the bleeding degen on them, the mob will explode and just do an AoE explosion effect around them of 10% of their maximum life as physical damage. Now we also get physical damage nodes up here, so we're also picking up physical damage nodes, physical, because of our blade for cast on crit ability. So we want a little bit of extra physical damage. This physical damage buff works with the explode, dealing 10% of their maximum life as physical damage. So that will the actual physical damage nodes here work with that. Physical damage nodes work with the cast on crit spell we're using Blade for, or Blade Vortex. The physical damage nodes also work with our weapon, so for our DPS and things like that. So that's just the build at the moment that I've got for a cast on crit build, high crit build. Damage is there. If you want to play a Gladiator build and you're trying to work out a build for damage and one that can take out bosses pretty quickly, this is a pretty good build to go with. It's softcore viable, hardcore viable. I'm level 84 in the hardcore league, haven't died yet, but I must say I've only gone up to tier 8 maps, so okay, so just a warning, I haven't gone further than tier 8 yet, so the build has been pretty effective so far. No close calls as yet. I've pretty much, most of the time my health is always up above halfway, and yeah, that's just the build. So I'll just finish it off with that, guys. I've shared pretty much all the sockets, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So I'm Lucas D. This is my cast on crit Cyclone build, and this is how I went in the patch 2.4 in Path of Exile, and I hope you guys are enjoying the Path of Exile expansion as well. I'll see you later.